Yes,
We're making a film about vaccine. Actually, I'm making a film about vaccines.
Okay.
Ben had a tremendous story. Ben wanted to make sure this was shown.
This is made by Miss Betty.
Miss Betty, yes, Miss Betty.
Very talented, talented member.
One of
And
our
I'm
local-
her friend.
And there's her friend.
Miss Joanne.
Anyway, why don't you explain a little bit your experience with vaccines?
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything that I read about vaccines tells me that, first of all, let me back that up.
Back that up.
I'm really concerned and concerned about what I put into my body. And I like to know where it comes from, what's in it. And I have a young daughter who I treat the same way. I don't blindly follow any rules or regulations or misinformation. I do my own research, find out what works for me, what works for my daughter, what works for my wife, and that's how we proceed. So there's a lot of pressure in elementary school for children to be vaccinated. And my wife and I have different opinions when it comes to vaccinations. My wife likes to put her faith in the medical profession and listen to them and make their recommendations understood as law. Whereas me, I do my research, want to find out what's in it, what the side effects are, because I've always had side effects from man-made medicine since I was a small child. So I'm really concerned about whether or not my daughter reacts the same way to it. So I told my wife I don't want my daughter to get any vaccinations. So we do some more research. Came home from work one night. My daughter was vaccinated. That evening my daughter was running close to 104.5, 105 fever. Burning up. Had no strength to even lift her hand or her head off the pillow. Was becoming dehydrated. My wife wanted to call the doctor, and I'm like, forget that. I grabbed my daughter, we rushed her to the hospital. Now we're talking a small child. At the time, she was probably about 6 years old. So this is 3 years ago. And this small child's body consumed 2 IV bags to hydrate her. I mean, that's how dehydrated she was and how hot her temperature was. And this was all brought on as a side effect and a reaction to the vaccine that was put into her system. So after that scare occurred, my wife...
Did medical say anything about that? You said it was an accident?
They give you these old thing where there's a small percentage of people that react this way, okay? And they talk in all these technical terms and they talk about percentages. But the fact of the matter is, I don't care if there's 1%. That 1% is somebody's child. And in this instance, it was mine.
And what kind of vaccine was this?
It was, I'm trying to remember. I forget off the top of my head. But it was one of the required vaccines that she had to have for being admitted to an elementary school. And so that pretty much determined the fact that I now understand that my daughter has reactions to medicines and man-made medicines just like I do. So I'm really careful about moving forward, whatever. And from that moment forward, my daughter doesn't get any more vaccines.
And what do you say to the school, by the way?
I'm choosing not to vaccinate her. That's my
They don't
personal
like-
right. I mean, there's
That's
no
your-
law.
that's your right.
There's no law that says that I have to vaccinate my
There's
child.
no law.
There's no law in
No
the state or the federal level that mandates that I must vaccinate my child. It's a personal choice that is projected and explained as it is a law. That's the image that it's portrayed.
There's no law.
But there's
Actually,
nothing
nothing.
written that requires me to vaccinate my children.
Right.
So that's
Unless you're required by a job.
and even then,
Even then, what?
it's a personal choice.
Personal choice. Unless you get fired. Joanne, you get fired if you don't take a vaccine shot. You want to say something?
And then I'll work here.
What?
And then I'll come work for you.
Yeah, is that what you said? You were
What,
required.
your boss will fire
You
you?
were required.
We are required to have an annual PPD.
What happens if you don't get it?
You don't work.
You don't work. And did you want to take a vaccine?
Pardon?
You didn't want to take it, did you?
I don't want to, but I did.
You did. Anyway, this is
2 months late.
2 months
I
late.
tried to delay it as
Tried
much
to
as
delay
I
it, going
could.
Anyway, this is live from Arnold. Anything else you want to say?
Oh, I appreciate all the work Arnold's doing. I support him in every way, shape, and
Right.
form that I can. The word needs to get out there. People need to realize how dangerous these vaccines are, and they're being sold under the guise that they're going to be helping their children. but they're actually hurting. Our generations and generations of children to come are being destroyed
That's parked in the
by
parking
these.
lot.
A blue one? Blue what?
Blue one, SUV.
So,
Parked.
the Eye from Arnold's Way,
Yeah.
raw food capital of the world.
Okay.
See you soon. Bye.
Yay.